We're a few weeks into the regular season, so let's look at the top 5 prospects in the Islanders system and what is the big takeaway about who these players are. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me grow the channel, reach more people. Also go to Twitter and follow @TLOMitch. That's me. Don't miss any breaking information about Islanders prospects or game coverage I've yet to cover on the channel. Happy Lumberjack Monday to everyone. It's a little bit later in the day. Both of my kids are kind of sick, so today was a movie watching day. Either way, we're here. The top 5 prospects in the Islanders system. I'm just going to come out and say them in order, and then we'll talk about each one of those players, and then give one big takeaway about who those players are. 1. Anatoly Golishev. 2. Robin Salo. 3. Dzirando. 4. Although it's exactly a tie, they share the same NHLe. Koivula. 5. Simon Holmstrom. First time he's ever made a top 5 for me at all, ever. So let's get into each one of those players individually, talk about why they're where they are, and then talk about one thing in general of all 5 players. Anatoly Golishev sits first with a 32-point NHLe. Now, if you're not sure or forget or don't know what NHLe is, think of it as a translation factor. What it does is it says the production rate that X player has done at whatever level, SHL, AHL, Liga, U16 League in the Czech Republic, wherever, whatever production rate that player has at that level, what does that translate to at the NHL level? So for Anatoly Golishev, who has 5 points in 5 games at the AHL level, he's essentially a 32-point NHLer. That's how it translates to. And so he sits first on the list. Over the week, he has 1 game, 1 goal, 1 assist, and 4 shots on goal. Now you're saying, didn't the Bridgeport Islanders play twice this week? And by week, I'm talking about last Monday up until the most recent Sunday. And you'd be right, they did play twice. So then why didn't Anatoly Golishev, who's a point-per-game player, play twice? Remember, they can only play 5 guys that have at least or more than 321 professional games. And so that's why there's going to be some rotation for the Bridgeport Islanders, who have 7 such players. So Anatoly Golishev just wasn't there for the second leg of a back-to-back last weekend. It's not the end of the world. He's still a point-per-game player, and that's the takeaway here. He's a guy very much fighting for a 13th forward spot. Right, if Kiefer Bellows just really falls out of favor, boom, Anatoly Golishev, thank you very much. Although I'd expect that he might go up closer towards the trade deadline when you have roster expansion going. The thing with that, though, I guess, to remember before we don't get ahead of ourselves, is that he's lost his waiver exemption now. He's played a professional game, so he is now no longer waiver exempt. If he goes up and has to go back down, he's got to go through waivers. So that's something the Islanders are going to have to be cognizant about. But for now, Golishev is a point-per-game player at the AHL level, and that's exactly what everyone wanted to see. Right? We didn't know it was going to happen, right? He had a couple of down years at the KHL level where he wasn't necessarily progressing, although then again, he's an older player, so he was more so plateauing rather than regressing. But we wanted to see if maybe that regression would continue, and if he could stick it, or would he be a Jan Kovac 2.0? That is not the case. Not only is he actually playing for Bridgeport, what Jan Kovac did not do, but he's killing it with 5 points in 5 games. One last thing on Golishev, and thank you, Sean O'Brien, for these visuals, is that he's a top-end player in this league. When you look at his point share for offensive and defensive contributions, he's a first-line forward. When you look at the quadrant of players in the AHL, he's in the top half. He is a top player at the AHL level. 2 is Robin Salo. He has 26-point NHLe. That's pretty darn good for what is a rookie North American player, or a rookie North American professional, I should say. Over the weekend or over the week, he played 2 games, 2 assists, 9 shots on goal. My man is getting pucks towards the net, which is exactly what you want to see from Robin Salo, right? He's not a defensive first defenseman. He's an offensive first defenseman. This guy gets pucks towards the net, out of his zone and towards the net. And it is helping these Bridgeport Islanders. When you look at his point share, so that's offensive and defensive point share, it's light years ahead of everyone else on the blue line. It's not even close. Samuel Bolduc can't even sniff close to where he's at. Robin Salo is that close to the NHL level. He's not there yet. I don't think he's there yet, but he is not far away. Give him a couple more weeks, maybe even a couple more months, and he's there. Guaranteed, he's there. Right? That's all it's going to take. He needs a little bit more work in the D zone, but then again, that's nothing new for anyone at any level. Right? Any young player still needs to work on their D game, and he's very much still in that category, but he's real close to becoming an NHLer. 3. It's a tie, so I'm going to go in alphabetical order based off first name. Arnaud Dzirando has a 24-point NHLe. Over the week, he's got 2 games played, 1 assist, 9 shots on goal. Things just keep on getting better for him. I don't think he's an NHL player just yet, but the way this is trending, he's certainly on the cusp of becoming an NHL player. He's taking slow but steady increments towards becoming an NHLer. And for a 6th round pick, that's what you want to see, right? Well, sorry, ideally you want to see them be Anders Lee. But if you can't get Anders Lee in the 6th round, this is the next best thing. A kid who's slowly, sure, but steadily working his game into the right level. And look, Brent Thompson has all the right things, or the nice things to say about Arnaud Dzirando. Just, he plays hard, he is where he needs to be, his commitment is there. This is exactly what the Islanders like to see from their players. Next is Anatoly Koivula, number 4, with a 24-point NHLe. And things are going very well for Anatoly Koivula. Had a 5-game point streak going until most recently when it was snapped. Over the week, he's got 2 games played, 1 goal, 1 assist, 3 shots on goal. He's still not that power forward type of guy. He's not that physical, that mean guy, right? Like that we want to see from him. It's just not a natural thing for him. He'll get it. I think he's eventually going to get it, and you can see him making those steps towards that game. The last and final player, Simon Holmstrom, number 5, with a 20-point NHLe. Finally, Simon Holmstrom has arrived as a top prospect in the Islanders system. He's having a big year, just like I said he would. He's got 5 points in 8 games. Over this week, he's got 2 games played, 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 shots on goal. Again, finally, Simon Holmstrom is a top prospect in the Islanders system. I'm repeating myself because it needs to be said twice. That's how important this is. For a couple of years now, Simon Holmstrom has just kind of been going with the flow, right? And maybe that's not to his discredit, but he hasn't really taken any step forward since the Islanders drafted him 23rd overall in 2019. It was very much a reach by them, and it looked like that for a couple of years until finally now it seems like things are working. And it's not just because the players around him are good. Of course, he's benefiting from that like anyone else would, but he's also providing his own. He's also doing his own. When you look at this play, the big takeaway seems to be the hands. And of course it is. Like, those are some silky mitts and some silky moves that he puts on to get that goal. But it's more about the forechecking. Right, sure enough, the player falls and coughs up the puck, but he's got to be in the right place, applying the right pressure to get on that puck and then take over with those silky mitts. Like, he's doing a lot on his own as well, and he's also benefiting from the players around him. Simon Holmstrom is finally taking that step forward. And yes, it's taken a while, but you gotta factor in a couple of things, right? I said it before, but he's still young. And he was young those 2 previous years as well. He came into North America as a pro at 18 years old. He was the youngest North American pro out there. And then you have 2 years just kind of crumbling around him with complete instability. And this is a player who craves stability, right? You got COVID shortening the year, and then you throw him back to Sweden, back again, back to Team Sweden, just all over the place. He needs stability, and now he's finally got it, and it's working out. Now, the one big takeaway about all of them, and it's probably something you've already clued in on, is they're all in the AHL, right? The one big takeaway here is that the future of the Islanders, or for the Islanders, isn't some sort of faraway concept. It's here, right? It's in Bridgeport. Golishev, Dzirando, Salo, Koivula, Holmstrom will be on this team. Maybe not all of them, but most of them will be on this team either next year or the year after that at the very latest. That is the next wave of Islanders talent coming in, not to mention Aturatu and others. So there's one thing that I want to bring up here, and it's a message that JP sent me, and I think it's perfectly apt to this discussion. And he says, I kind of wish we had Tomasino, but I'm glad we don't need Holmstrom. right? And what he's trying to say there, or at least what I take out of it, is that, yeah, it'd be great to have Tomasino, but is he getting in this team anyways? Probably not. So we can take the time to develop guys like Holmstrom. If it takes 3 years for Holmstrom to figure it out, that's fine. He's got the time. We don't need Holmstrom now. We might need him next year and maybe the year after that. But if it takes 3 years for him to get to the point where he can finally step into the NHL, so be it. Like Lou says, if you have time, take it. And Simon Holmstrom has time, and so do the Islanders, and they're taking it. And it seems to be working. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And if you have, thank you, thank you, thank you.